My husband, who's 40, and I, who's 35, always dreamed of living a life away from the busy city we were used to. Both of us grew up in the city, but we always dreamed of moving to a charming countryside we had read about or seen on TV. We frequently searched for farms listed for sale on property websites and set a budget aligned with the prices of the farms we found appealing. We went so far as to plant fruits and vegetables in our yard to get the hang of farming. My husband worked hard in his corporate job to make our dream of owning a farm come true. We found a secluded piece of land, far from the city, surrounded by quiet and privacy. As the community in the nearby town warmly welcomed us, supporting our plan to turn the farm into a family business. They even helped with hiring farmhands and taught us the ropes of farming. It was a significant shift from the individualistic city mentality. I enjoyed the slower pace, with my husband working in the fields and me managing the house. We were trying for a baby, and the change in environment seemed to be working. Life felt blissful, but over time, I started feeling bored and lonely due to the isolation. I missed the bustling social life of the city, and I struggled to connect with the local women, finding them too gossipy. The only person I could relate to was one of our farm hands, who, like me, moved from the city for a change. Our conversations grew closer, and eventually we crossed a line we couldn't undo. We had passionate moments, fueled by the thrill of risk and danger, something our peaceful farm life lacked. Despite my love for my husband and our satisfying sex life, I found excitement in the forbidden. After about a year and a half, I made the decision to end the affair with the farm hand. I've recently discovered that I'm pregnant, which feels like a miracle considering my previous complications. My husband is thrilled about becoming a father, and I'm equally excited about becoming a mom. However, I can't help but feel nervous about who the father might be. When I decided to end the affair, he refused and confronted me with pictures and videos of compromising situations that I didn't even know existed. He threatened to expose the compromising material to my husband if I didn't provide him with money for a while. I complied initially, but eventually I ran out of resources. Despite that, I resorted to borrowing money from friends and family to fulfill his demands. Now, I find myself completely drained financially. What should I do? My husband discovered that I'd borrowed money and he's asking me about it. He senses something's wrong. What should I do? I'm really worried. Sure. I followed the suggestion and shared everything with my husband. He's incredibly mad at me, to the point that he can't even bring himself to look at me. And when he does, it's a look of complete disgust. He relocated to the cottage near the stables. He doesn't want to be in the same house as me. I got down on my knees, pleading with him to return to the main house, but he wouldn't listen. There was a glimmer of hope for our relationship when he fired the man who was blackmailing me and quietly supported me in pressing charges against that man. However, my hopes were crushed when he questioned whether the baby was his. Honestly, I don't know either. How do I fix this? I love my husband and don't want to destroy everything we've built together just because of a brief affair. How can I make him see it? Update 2. I've decided to call our friends from the city, people we know and completely trust, for an intervention. I was desperate and couldn't continue living like that anymore. I felt like people were looking at me and judging me. I felt incredibly lonely. I reached out to our true friends who were with us from rock bottom. I invited them to the farm and explained what had happened. They were upset and expressed that what I did was wrong, considering it a significant betrayal. However, they still supported me in my efforts to mend my marriage, though my husband didn't respond well to their support. This seemed to infuriate him even more, and he demanded a divorce right then and there, embarrassing me in front of our friends. I understand that what I did was wrong, but now that I'm trying to make amends, I just wish he would be more cooperative. Update 3. He doesn't want to listen to anyone and insists on getting a divorce. He's been staying in the cottage and doesn't even look at me. The rest of the workers try to avoid me like the plague. Some of my friends don't want to talk to me. I am now truly isolated and lonely. I'm getting tired of trying to salvage this relationship, and I'm considering moving back to the city. Update 4 might be the last one. It's been almost 2 years since I last updated you, and a lot has happened. We are no longer married. We had to ask a lot and argue a lot to reach where we are now, but we made it. I had a baby girl before we could even do a DNA test. Her appearance made it clear she wasn't his, but I still wanted to make sure with the DNA test. I was holding on to false hope, wishing that the DNA test would show she's my ex-husband's daughter, believing it could bring us back together. After that, he started causing problems. He didn't want to give me financial support after the divorce, and he even went to court to avoid paying for the child's care. His petition was accepted because he filed it within the allowed time to question paternity. It's clear he didn't make an effort to connect with our child and simply wanted to distance himself. I thought that when he saw our child, he might want to rebuild our relationship, but unfortunately, that didn't happen. I eventually moved back to the city and used the alimony from the court to get a one-bedroom apartment for my daughter and myself. However, that financial support is ending soon, and I'm worried about how I'll manage everything once it's gone. I'll be honest, I still miss him. And I often think about what life could have been like if he were with me, both for him and our daughter. Be dead. Daughter's biological daughter isn't in the picture I was in, and I still am not interested in raising a child with a farmhand. That would be a major blow to my daughter's self-esteem. I'll be honest, I still miss him, and I often think about what life could have been like if he were with me, both for him and our daughter. I'm happy your ex doesn't have to give money for a child who isn't his. His lawyer did a great job, but it's not so great that he still has to pay alimony even though it won't be for very long. You should start searching for a job if you want to avoid being homeless. Story 2. I'm not sure what to do and it's really bothering me. To make a long story short, my wife became friends with a coworker of hers, and it was supposed to be just an online friendship. And at work, they hardly talk, but once they're home, they quickly start chatting about work and their favorite music with each other. At first, I didn't think much of it because my wife doesn't have many friends. However, things changed when she began texting him constantly, even during our dinner conversations. She also started ignoring our online conversations. Forgot to add that she works a 9-5 job while I work an 8-8 job. I kindly asked her to focus on our conversations and spend time with the family on my days off or before I left for work. It really began to frustrate me, and I tried to explain that, but I was brushed off. Just about 3 months ago, my suspicion became too much for me to handle. I came home, logged into her EM account, and discovered that she had been exchanging sexually explicit messages with this guy both when I was at work and even when I was at home. In the messages, she talked about how attractive the guy was and that she wanted him. Her exact words were, "It's a shame I'm not single because I would be really intimate with him." I was so devastated that I just sat there shaking. This hit me hard because we had been married for 9 years and together for 14, and our relationship had always been strong and loving. I confronted her about it, and she explained that she was just joking, trying to boost her coworker's self-esteem since he had recently gone through a tough breakup and was feeling down. I asked her if she was truly happy, and she reassured me saying yes, and that she wanted only me. We decided to take a short vacation to a local bed and breakfast, and things appeared to be okay after. I told her that I didn't want her to continue her friendship with this man, and she agreed to stop. Shortly thereafter, she began hiding her phone before he arrived home and changed all her passwords. She mentioned changing her password, and while I understand the need for privacy, marriage should be based on openness and trust, not secrets. Despite this, I assumed things were okay. We had a conversation, worked through our issues, and agreed to make an effort to spend more quality time together. On July 1st, the day before her birthday, I had purchased tickets for her to see one of her favorite bands perform and was planning to hide the tickets to surprise her. Lo and behold, I found her phone hidden behind some clothes in the closet. At first, I tried to resist the temptation to look at her phone, but unfortunately, I made the mistake of doing it anyway. She was texting the guy again, and although the messages weren't explicit, it was clear that they both longed for each other. She mentioned feeling obligated to spend time with me and our children. I haven't confronted her about it yet. Every day when I'm away from home, I worry that things might be happening despite her promises. As of now, nothing physical has occurred between them. I feel really hurt and upset because she betrayed me. I don't know what to do next. But I'll be honest. When I returned from being overseas, I wasn't doing well, and she was always there to support me. I have to admit, I was frequently drunk and not pleasant to be with, and I kissed another woman. It's just the toll that takes on you. Even with everything going on, I never thought she cheated on me during her time as a military wife. But in a way, I think she was bored. The way she explained it, it was an opportunity for her to feel good about herself. This guy is a total betrayer, and I sense she believes it was just a one-time occurrence. I'm planning to talk to her today. I've requested my dad to take the kids for ice cream, and I'm searching for a hotel. Brinks are off. It's spent. She probably lost interest in everything else, like her kids' hobbies and jobs. Such relationships tend to take over, leaving no room for anything else. Admittedly, these situations often happen when life feels less satisfying. There must have been something missing that led you to seek such a deep connection with someone who is basically a stranger and keep it a secret from you. Dealing with this problem will need help and a thorough examination of what's lacking and how to fix it. Marriage counseling is crucial for this journey. Both of you need to be ready to collaborate in saving the marriage, taking responsibility for understanding the core issues and finding solutions. Maybe she needs more intimacy from you or more evenings out with her friends. Or perhaps she's struggling with the reality that adults with kids often have less thrilling lives. It won't be a simple fix, as marriage, despite how it looks, can be quite tricky to navigate